Welcome to the telephone game YouTube hop for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I'm Janet Fritz and welcome to my channel. Today I am working on a project that is inspired from Christy Harriman, and I am the fourth person in the lineup to get to play with this. So what this is much like the telephone game from your childhood probably. Where you whisper something in someone's ear and they whisper it in someone else's ear, and by the time you get to the 10th or 11th person down the road, everything has changed, and it's usually pretty funny what the difference is from what you started to what you end up with. So we're doing that in scrapbooking. So Brianna started out with a layout over on her channel, and I will link those down below. And she started out with this beautiful rainbow background that had all kinds of hearts, and her background was mixed media. And I didn't know this until I just watched it the other day, and now I'm doing my voiceover. I actually did this layout over a month ago, and I'm doing my voiceover now, and I've already seen hers, but at the time that I made the layout, I hadn't seen it. I had only seen the layout from Christy, which you saw at the beginning here, and I'm going to pop it up in the corner so that you can kind of see it and follow along. Christy had this beautiful mixed media background in these greens and teals, and she had lots of stars on her background, and she had this great title called Born to Shine, and her photo was centrally located on the layout. So I chose to go ahead and add my mixed media to a background paper that has stars on it already, rather than adding the stars over my mixed media. And my photo is also going to be right smack in the center of the layout, and I'm actually going to go ahead and scrap lift her title because I like the title and I thought it would be appropriate. And then I am going to put my entire layout onto another piece of paper so that there's a border just like in hers. The biggest difference so far is my background paper has the stars, and my mixed media is more contained to this diagonal, whereas hers covers a lot of the page. It's kind of more drippy from the top, and I really love that look as well. But I wanted to do something a little bit different because I've done that look many times, and so I just wanted to do something a little bit different. So I have gessoed my entire paper, and I've got it taped down there with blue tape. And what I did was I gessoed it, I taped it down, I gessoed it, I let it sit overnight so that it was good and dry. And I didn't have much warping at all because it was taped down. And this background paper is a Felicity Jane paper, so it's not super thick. It's not like a mixed media or watercolor paper at all. It's just plain old, pattern paper weight paper. So if you're going to do something like mixed media on that kind of paper, I highly recommend you tape it down and let it sit so that it is really good and dry. You can use your heat gun too, but if you're using your heat gun like I am, you want to make sure that you're moving it around a lot and not just putting it on one section of your paper, because that will increase the warping as well. You got to be moving it around quite a bit. Hold it a fair distance. Now, it doesn't look like I am moving it around a ton there, but my background paper is dry with the exception of the watercolor. So when you're letting the actual gesso dry, you want to make sure you're moving it around a lot, and otherwise you're going to get more warping. I have had this wood veneer piece in my stash for, I don't know, a really long time, and I believe it's from Studio Calico, and I've never been able to get it on a layout. I've kind of struggled with it because it is like a larger piece, and I really just didn't know what to do with it. So what I did was I gessoed it with some white gesso, and I'm going to cut it in half, and it's going to be coming out from those two watercolored areas. I'm trying not to break it, so I'm using my craft knife and my Tim Holtz scissors just to kind of make sure that it gets cut properly. And I do like how that looks. I'm also going to do some mixed media with this Nuvo mousse, and this stencil is one of Paige Evans' stencils, and it was like the first batch that she did. I think she's at least got her second batch done as well, or second batch of designs. So this was in the first batch of designs, and it's a really cool stencil. It's got little stars, and I really like the stencil, but I struggle a little bit with mixed media, mostly because I have a hard time like just letting it be what it is, and I end up smushing too much through it. So don't smush too much through it. So now what I'm doing to these wood veneer pieces is I'm using the metallic white watercolor that comes in this watercolor palette from I think it's Kiritaki Gonzai watercolors, just so that the wood veneer has a little bit of shimmer. It's not so flat like it would be if I just left it with the gesso on it. And I really like how that looks. And now I'm going to trim down my papers, and I'm looking for something to put behind them. I love that pink paper, but I love that pink paper so much that I didn't want to use it just as a border around, and I wanted something a little bit darker. And this paper that I end up using is just like a paperweight paper. It's not thick or anything. And I like that it has those burgundies in it, but it's not a paper that I would normally use. I prefer the brighter colors, so this is going to work out perfectly. And then the photos that I'm using today, it's me and my husband, and we went on a date night to an improv comedy thing, and the story behind the photo was when you walked in, all of the chairs were lined up, and they started, the chairs were all justified to the left against the wall, and so we sat as close to the wall as we could so that hopefully we wouldn't get called on to do anything, because you'd have to, you know, squeeze past everybody else in your aisle to get out. And that's just not really convenient when you're in a show like that. So we're like, awesome, we'll sit way over here so nobody gets called on. And lo and behold, they called me up on stage. And so I made the best of it. I'm not a performer. I'm pretty shy when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so I went up on stage and did the little skit thing that they asked for us to do, and it was really fun. My husband was really surprised. He thought I was going to be really pissed off that they picked me, and you know, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make the best of it and go and have fun, and you know, we'll see what happens. So that is why I decided to go ahead and scrapbook this, because it's something kind of unusual for me, and it was kind of a funny occurrence, and that's why I went with the Born to Shine title, because I thought, well, you know what, this is going to be like kind of a little bit tongue-in-cheek, because I definitely am not someone who would normally get up on stage and do that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's why I'm scrapbooking it. So I've pulled out these Vicky Bouton stickers, and it's from her first sticker book, and I've got one there that says "Like a Boss." And then I'm cutting out one that says "You Can Do It," but that one does not end up making it on the layout. I end up using one that says "You Betcha," one that says "Give It a Try," and then one that's just a label that I end up putting the date on. And I was going to start putting these up at the top like I would normally do on a lot of my layouts. I use tabs at the top, but then I decided to move them to the side. I've got a lot of horizontal elements, and I kind of wanted to stay with more of the horizontal look and not take up so much room vertically, especially because I know the title is going to be going above or below, or a combination thereof. So that was kind of my thinking on that, and now I'm just looking for that fourth one, and that's going to be the one that I end up doing with the date. and I end up going with a darker one, and my reason for that is because the Like a Boss one is black and it has more weight to it than the peach or the pink one, so I want to balance that weight out, and so I go with a navy blue one. And I end up really liking how it looks. I'm kind of stuck at the moment with what I'm going to do for that fourth label or fourth tab. So I went ahead and moved on to my title, and I knew what that was going to be because it was a direct scrap lift from Christy. So the biggest difference is I believe most of hers was at the bottom, and I'm going to split it up so Born To is above my photo and Shine is below my photo, and then my journaling will go a little bit diagonal off the bottom of the title. Now, as I mentioned, this is a YouTube hop, so go and check out the links below for the ladies that came before me. And remember, I'm not seeing anybody else's layout except for the person directly before me, and that was Christy Harriman. And then the person that comes next in order is going to be Janet Hauser. I will try to link up her channel the day that it comes out, and you can see what she does based off of my layout. This is a lot of fun. This started out with a challenge over in the Secret Not Secret Kit Club and one of the monthly online scrap parties. I highly recommend checking out that club as well. I will put a link down below for that. Christina does an amazing job hand curating kits custom for your likings, so check her out and go check out the other ladies who are doing the hop. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. We are going to be doing this again in October sometime, so be on the lookout for that. Also, there are 2 other teams participating in this over on YouTube. One of them starts out with State Goddess, so if you go to her YouTube channel and check her out, you can find their telephone hop. And then the other one is done by Becky, and I'm going to go ahead and put links to both Sandy, who is State Goddess, and Becky's channels down below for you as well, so you can check out the other 2 teams that are playing along. And then we do have a group that's playing along over on Instagram as well, so check all of that out and see how these awesome layouts all come together and how we are inspired by one another to change up or to keep our layouts the same. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Stick around for the close-ups. They're coming up in just a few seconds here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.